Welcome back. We're on week 3 of Unleashed. If you guys haven't grabbed the paperwork, it should be sitting on the desk in front of you. If not, I got some extras here. And then if you by chance missed last week, let me know, and I've got some extras for week 2 in my office as well. So I want to ask, how many of you guys actually had an accountability partner that you met up with this past week? Good, good. I mean, it's a start. So I'm just proud of all of you guys that actually created an accountability partner. And so if you guys wouldn't mind, I think like meeting or working with your accountability partner for the following 3 months until the end of the year will be good for you, and start putting you into a system and being accountable for your actions and whatnot. Okay, question 2. How many of you guys have started your phone calls, your texts, your emails, your handwritten notes? Okay, started doing them? How's that working out? Is anyone getting any success for those yet? You, Brian? We need a little bit? Okay, so I think just keep on doing it. You're not going to see instant results with some of these actions that we're doing. We're going to see them in time to come. So keep on doing them. As Brian Buffini says, you have to prime the pump. So you got to keep on working to try to get those leads. And once you get those leads, you got to keep on doing those actions that we've done before. So just when things start to roll for you, don't forget what got you there and keep doing those actions as well. Next question. So I'm going through some of the homework. Have you guys all set your goals for next year? Attainable goals like income, transactions, relationships, money, all that kind of fun stuff? No? Yes? Okay. All right. So as I'm telling you guys all this stuff, the other day, like all my life is happening to me, and I'm like, I need to be doing these things with you. So as much as I'm preaching it, I'm going to start doing this with you, because first off, it's not fair that you guys are doing it and I'm not. And second off, I really truly believe that this will be life-changing, not only for me and for you, if you consistently do these actions that I'm giving you. So the success experiment, I have also started just recently, because this last couple days, I feel like my life is going to hell in a handbasket. And my poor husband, he's like, are you okay with me? And I'm like, I love you. It's me. So I just said I need to get some things straight. So I think I need to focus on what I really want to in my life, my relationships, my love, my business, and I think that will help me get some clarity with what I'm doing. And so I have started doing that the past couple days. I've started really working on writing down my actual goals and just not thinking of them, because I have a goal in my head of what I want to achieve by next year, but I don't write it down. So every day I kind of change it, maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe this much. And I think unless you actually have something visible, have it written down, put it on your window, put it on your mirror, put it in your desk, I don't care. I've had this woman on my mirror for 8 years, and you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I used to do bodybuilding essentially, and so this was the body that I want. So every morning when I wake up, I look at her and I compare myself to her, saying, well, am I close yet? And every day I get a little closer to this woman, but I don't put my goals, my actual hard goals of life goals on my mirror, so I think that's going to be something I'm going to change also this year too. So. And then I think that was most of the homework for last week. I just wanted to make sure we're going to get through all this, because I know we've got 2 speakers today. The 90-day calendar. Did you guys go ahead and fill out that 90-day calendar of the days that you're going to take vacation on? Okay, perfect. I need to highlight my days because I think I need a vacation right now anyway. So this is week 3 of Unleashed. Welcome to week 3. Find your seat. Already done that? Have you eaten the frog today? Has anyone made 1 phone call, 1 email, 1 text to their clients that they were supposed to make today? Good job. Good job. Awesome. So this last week, I don't sell a lot of real estate. I think I'm allowed to do 10 transactions a year, and it's mainly for friends and family. So I always preach doing pop-bys, doing all these other things, but I never do them. So I personally have done 20 pop-bys. I'm about 15 in, and I'm doing pumpkins, just saying, hey, let me know if you need any real estate needs at all. And I've texted every one of my friends that I was able to drop them off at. Now, my bit of advice is I'm doing it early in the morning on the way into the office and texting them. And the ones that say, oh, I saw you pulling out, why didn't you stop by? And I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't know you were home. So I'm not stopping making conversation with these people so I can get more of my pop-bys done. But I'm at least voice texting them or texting them afterwards saying, hey, I dropped off a pumpkin, hope you guys are doing well. If there's anything that you guys need in real estate, let me know. I'd love to help you. So, keeping in touch with my past friends, because that's who I work with, and letting them know that I can still help them in their transactions for the years to come. So, I'm also incorporating these activities in my daily functions, as well as trying to preach it to you. So it's really easy. I had First National Bank partner up with me. They offered me the pumpkins for $3 a pumpkin. They were this big, and they gave me cutouts so they could make jack-o'-lantern faces on, and then like a little pop-by thing that I attached my card to. So you can find people that will do these items with you for fairly cheap. Find somebody that you can team up with and do it with. So I like to eat the frog today. So today we have two speakers. We got David Matney and Jenn Bennett. These two have spoken in some of my mastermind groups before. Dave Matney is awesome at prospecting phone calls. He is always in the prospecting booth. If you've not seen him, walk by the booth on the first floor in the mornings and you'll usually see everything pinned to the wall, and he's always calling diligently. So I love Dave, and he's an awesome speaker. And then Jenn Bennett, she has also spoken in one of my mastermind groups about farming neighborhoods and stuff that she does in her direct neighborhood. And so she's kind of taught me a few things that I didn't even know that I've shared with some other friends of mine in the business. And so I think both of them should have some good prospecting ideas for you today. Our video. So instead of clicking on the link, I am going to go to the actual site so I don't kill my computer today. And if you guys wouldn't mind killing the lights, I will get this one started. So anyone that's not from Berkshire that's coming to us from another company, we had Inky Johnson come in this year and speak to us. Vince always brings in one inspirational speaker, and we fill the room with like 500 and some agents, either from our office or from different companies. And so we had the pleasure of having Inky Johnson come in. And this is not one of the videos that Vince has ever shown, but it does really inspire me. It's kind of a short snippet of Inky, so if you've seen him, I apologize, but I think the message that he's sharing here is pretty wonderful. So I'll get this going for us.
You know, my mother had me when she was 16 years old, and I used to sleep on the floor, and I had 8 uncles in that same house, and they did everything under the sun, you know, going in and out of prison. And my mother, she worked at Wendy's, and she would get off work at Wendy's, and I would be about the last kid sitting in the park, and I would be waiting on my mother because I didn't want to go home because, you know, every other day or every other week, our front door would get kicked in because my uncles, they sold drugs. So every opportunity I got in solitude to cultivate a vision for my life, I took advantage of it. And one night, my mother came into the park and I walked off the field and I said, "Can you please introduce me to my father?" Because I played every sport, and every sport I played, we had to show our birth certificates. And so every time I pulled out my birth certificate, I would always see my mother's name, but I never saw my father's name, and so it bothered me. And so she said, sure. And so my first encounter with my father, I shook his hand. I said, "Hey, man, how you doing?" He said, "Hey, little man." He said, "Man, I heard you could really play sports." I said, "Thanks. I heard you can too." I said, "But here's what I need you to do for me. I need you to pick me up every Friday night, work me out every Saturday morning, and you can take me back home after that. I don't need any money. I don't need any clothes. I just need to make it to the NFL so I can help my mother and my grandmother. Can you do that?" He said, "Yeah, I got you." And so he picked me up one Friday night. The first Saturday morning, he shakes me. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. I wake up, I'm wiping the cold out of my eyes. He said, "Little man, you said you wanted it, right?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Get up. We're running 2 miles to this fire station, 2 miles back home." I said, "Okay, let's do it." And so he walks by me and he busted a U-turn and he looked up at me. He said, "Son," I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I want you to pull that other person outside of you today." No disrespect. I said, "But I don't see another person." I said, "So I understand we have different lives and you have a job, and so if you're tired, I get it. You can go back in the house and you can go to sleep, but you're not stopping me from running to this fire station. I'm running to this fire station whether you go or not." And he looked at me, and what he said to me, it pierced my heart in such a way. He said, "Son, what I'm trying to get you to understand is no matter how hard you work, there is somebody on the inside of you that works even harder." He said, "No matter how dedicated you are, there is somebody on the inside of you that's more dedicated. No matter how committed you are, there is somebody on the inside of you that's more committed, and you don't even know what commitment is yet. You think commitment is just saying, 'Yes, I'll do it,' but what commitment is staying true to what you said you were going to do long after the mood that you have set it in has left, meaning on the days when you don't feel like doing what you said you would do, you get up and you do it anyway. That's what builds character." And he said, "I need you to understand the concept that there's another person on the inside of you, because one day in your life you will face something that's a lot tougher than you, and your strength and your drive and your commitment and your work ethic won't do it. You will have to realize that it's something on the inside of you that's greater than anything that life can throw at you." And immediately I got it. And so when my life changed, not only did my football career end, I got a paralyzed right arm and hand behind me. Life changed overnight. But I was extremely grateful for it, because the whole time I understood that you have to tap into in order to get through one of the darkest, toughest, roughest moments of your life. There's another person on the inside of you.
So Inky Johnson came, like I said, last year, and he, his story is pretty awesome. He got hurt right before he was supposed to be picked up by the professional football league, or NFL, whatever. I don't like sports, but I'm like, whatever. My husband would kill me if he heard me say that. But you know, I mean, he made something great out of something bad that happened to him. And he still woke up every single morning knowing that the life that he had to live was go home and live with all of his aunts and uncles, never sleep on a bed until he was 18 years old by himself. I mean, and this gentleman made the best of every day of his life, and he sat there and he had discipline and he worked hard for what he wanted to achieve. And that's what you guys have to do as well. Some days you're going to have a craptastic day and you've got to get up and work through it. Yesterday I had a craptastic day, and you know, someone said to me, you've made it through a lot worse. Some days, why is this so hard? So, you know, you're going to have those days that hurt you, days that you don't want to do stuff. This morning I had the best excuse. I'm driving to the gym at 4:30 in the morning and I get a wicked nosebleed, and I'm like, well, I could go home, or, you know, I can suck it up, try to see if I can get it to stop and go run on the treadmill, hoping that it wasn't going to be pouring blood as I'm running. And, you know, my mindset was, is I'm going. I got up, I'm in the car, I'm driving, I've already taken my pre-workout, so if I go to bed, it's not going to be a very good sleep anyways, but I made a choice. I had the discipline to go to the gym. And that's my own demon. I have body dysmorphia horribly. So to me, if I would have went home and went to bed, it would have hurt me for the day, thinking that you loser, you didn't go to the gym, and it would have probably wrecked my whole day. So your mindset, your discipline, and your drive is going to really take you to where you need to be. And so that's why, you know, every morning you're going to have someone that's going to get in your way, or something that's going to get you down, or something that might make you want to stop. But you have to sit there and overachieve that, or overcome that and achieve what you want to. So you have to make the decision what you want in life and then decide to go get it. And no matter what gets in your way, because there's going to be obstacles, and unfortunately, it's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to let those alter your life or not. So motivation gets you started and habit gets you going. Habits are something that you have to learn to form, and that's kind of some of the stuff that we've been working on your goals, working on your affirmations, stuff that can get you in the right mindset. Also working on your 5-5-5-3, making your phone calls every day, your handwritten notes, your texts, your emails, and your coffees. If you start doing these little habits every single day, they say that habits are formed after 21 days. It's what research says. But it says, you know, that's only if you're wanting to drink a glass of water in the morning. So you have to keep on doing these habits in order for them to actually become full daily activities. So 21 days is what research says that it takes to create a habit. Time blocking. So this is something that we've spoken about a few times in this class. And in order to achieve the success that I think all of you guys want to achieve, you have to start inserting some time blocking into your lives. Now, time blocking, I think you have to be realistic with it. So when you're too optimistic about how long a given task is going to take, we fail to completely follow through on what we set out to do. So if you say, well, I'm going to set a half hour to make 10 phone calls, we all know that's not going to happen. You need to actually make the right amount of time in order to achieve the goal at hand. So if you're going to be making 5 phone calls that day, maybe block out an hour and a half, because you know if someone answers the phone, you're going to end up having a few extra couple of minutes of conversation. So if you are time blocking, I think that's something that is something to put into the back of your mind. Definition of time blocking. In a nutshell, time blocking is simply assigning your task to a specific block of time during the day. Then you focus on those tasks and those tasks only during their assigned time block. Sounds simple, right? It is. And once you incorporate these time blocking tips into your routine, you'll be a productive powerhouse. So yesterday, Aaron Horn came and spoke in one of our masterminds about mindset. And he and I didn't realize had so many similarities. I have a lot of anxiety in my world. And if I know that one of you guys have called, texted, emailed me, or left me a voicemail, I can't seem to get past it until I've actually finished or called you guys back. It's just kind of something that is my own issue. So today, this morning, as I'm getting ready, I was going to try something different. I actually flipped my phone upside down so I couldn't see the multiple text or phone calls I was getting, and it actually relaxed me a little bit. So if you're time blocking and you're actually trying to make phone calls, put your phone away, take it and put it someplace else, and try to actually focus on the task at hand. I think it would also help you achieve a lot more and maybe make you relax and not worry about the outside world at the time. Time blocking is essential, an exercise in making your time more tangible by organizing your day in a series of time slots. So time blocking helps you budget your time. It beats procrastination, because a lot of times we'll get hooked up on Facebook, Instagram, email, something of that nature. It keeps you from getting overwhelmed and keeps you from procrastinating. Oops, went back. If you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hopes. So, I think that you need to set a goal that actually is going to make you, excited about getting up every single day, not something that's going to make you dread your mornings. And this to me was kind of important. Strive for progress, not perfection. So every single day, I try to at least improve a little bit. This class is helping me improve a little bit. I don't have heart palpitations in the morning. I don't want to wreck my car anymore coming in here. But I know I'm not perfect at it, but I hope in the years to come that I get better and better. And I think that's something that you guys need to do too. When you're making your first phone call, a cold call to an expired or for sale by owner, we're going to stumble over our words. I think that you have to realize that it's not a big deal. They don't know who you are anyways. So when you're done, just be happy that you actually overcame a fear that you had and work on the next phone call that you have to make. So this one I liked a lot as well. I never dreamed about success, I worked for it. So I think a lot of us tend to imagine what we can have, but we never really work hard to get there. So in order to achieve those dreams, you have to be realistic with yourself, because doing that is not going to happen by sitting in bed till 10 o'clock in the morning or going out and partying every single night and sleeping till noon. You have to get up and make something of your morning, because your mornings are your mornings of success. I was listening to the book I was just telling you guys about 2 weeks ago. I had it on my phone, Miracle Morning, thank you. So I've listened to it once already, but I decided I want to listen to it one more time for the fact that I tend to space off and start thinking of my day, and I wanted to capture a few more things from it. So, even him, he was saying that, his mornings are the mornings of his success, and on the weekends he still wakes up early. And one of the guys in our mastermind yesterday said he started waking up at 5:30 and he gets so much more done. So just even incrementing like your wake ups 30 minutes at a time, just to try to see if you can establish something or accomplish something more than you're doing in a day already, I think will give you some type of achievement or feel like you've accomplished something from this. So, tech tool of the day, we've got Tabitha Cooper here today to talk about the Lead Resource and Seller Advantage.
Seller Advantage and Lead Resource are a couple of parts inside of Resource Center. So we train on specifically a lot of different things here, but the Home Selling and Finding Guide, the Lead Resource, Seller's Resource, Marketing Resource, Social Media Resource, and the Learn Center resource here specifically. So today inside of the Seller Advantage first, it's basically just that. It's helping us stay in contact with our sellers so that they know what's happening in their market based on the home that you have for sale. So with Seller Advantage, when you click on that, you can click specifically in Seller Advantage, and you'll see the main page. So you'll go through, if you've never signed up, just go through this kind of welcome email, and it will walk you through what they mean. Essentially, there are 3 reports that you're going to find in here. And when you get in there, you will see a listing presentation report at the top. You kind of know what that is already. Listing activity reports, the activities that's happening around the listing, and then a market activity report. So at the very top, now this interacts with the MLS, so any of your listings that you have, they're automatically going to show up in here because it's collaborative. But if you wanted to take something with you to a listing presentation, you can do the listing presentation report initially and click on Create a New Report. You need a little bit of information in there, and then you have something tangible to take with you. So you choose which one you want. The one on the left is without the map, and the one on the right is with the map. I like the one with the map just because it shows a little more data there. And these are kind of Mickey Mouse. It's step by step. So once you choose something on that screen, there's going to be an arrow or a next button. Click that and keep going through the stages. So then we're going to click on Next. And if you have customers in here already, last week we kind of talked about taking your list of leads, putting them in there, or doing them one at a time. If you have someone in here, you can do your lookup for the customer and you can find them. If not, you can just add them. Say for instance you want to start right now and you have a brand new customer, you can add them right now with first name, last name, and an email address. That's all that is required. Actually, nope, you have to have the address too, of course. 68133, and then they're going to ask for an estimated price. And then again, hit your next button there. Okay, so now you're starting to get more information on your report. But you do, because what we want to do is go and determine how many homes are similar to the sellers. So you're going to go through and you can determine by a map search. You can choose exactly where that home is and go within a proximity on that map, or you can simply do a radius. So I'm going to start out with the radius for now. And just for giggles here, I'm going to go out to about 5 miles. And then, of course, this one is a single family. I want to pull comps, so I'm going to do anywhere between, I don't know, 3 to 4 bedrooms here. List priced. They automatically go about, I don't know, several thousand below and above, but you can change that list price if you want. Same thing with the bathrooms here. Square footage you can add in there, and then you can add garage spaces as well. And then you simply click on Create Report. So that's pretty simple, right? You just put in the data that you want to comp it with, and when you start narrowing it down, really narrowing it down, of course, just like in the MLS, it is going to show you less. Okay, so the next one, so that's a listing presentation report. It just has the map. It has anything that's happening in the activity, as far as activity around that particular listing. Okay, so now the listing activity reports. Again, because this interacts with the MLS, you're going to see all of your listings there. And if you want to add this to a seller advantage, meaning they're getting weekly updates, emails that are coming in regularly the moment some sort of activity happens on around their neighborhood, you can hit that plus button. Once you hit that, you're going to see a house, and that means they are on seller advantage. If you want to add them to seller advantage, you do hit the plus button. And then you kind of go through the exact same steps that we just did, and we have to obviously get it to comp around that home. So you're going to add the same thing. Okay, so then you they're going to get emailed. You get to choose which ones they're, if you want them to, when you want them to receive the email. So when an open house has been scheduled, email when a showing has been scheduled, email when a comment has been added. Now again, this is interacting with the MLS. So if you have anything in the MLS that showcases open houses and things like that, and then you set the report to go out, the frequency. So you can do daily, weekly, or monthly. I typically do weekly. Add a courtesy copy email. So if you wanted to go back to yourself, put yours in there as well so you know when it's going out. And then click on Next again. And you do have to modify those options again below. I'm a little afraid to do that. Perfect. This is essentially what the last one is going to look like as well. So these are marketing statistics. It's going to show you what's happening around that particular listing. 57 appearances in the search results, 14 views on our website, 654 views on other websites, Zillow, Trulia. Nobody has saved it. 56 buyers looking for something similar. That means they're set up on save searches in the MLS. So this is something great that you can show your sellers. And then again, I've got this set up to go out automatically weekly, and you can change the statistic dates as well. So if you want to go back a month, if you want to go back, it's just totally up to you how far you want to go back. And then it shows the activity in that market as well. And again, that other report looks exactly like this. It's just streamlined. It's got the map of this on there, shows any comp homes, and it's just a one-page version with your photo there. So when you want, if you like this, you can just simply go up here and click on that PDF, and then you can download that, print it, send it out however you want it. You just save it to your desktop. And then one more. We're going to go back to that last one. These are all essentially the same material. It's the same marketing information. They're pulling from the same place. They're just kind of laid out a little bit differently. Yeah, you can. I would just take that PDF and download that and then send it. But this, since you've got them on the weekly, they're automatically going to get that PDF version anyhow. So if you just wanted to mail it to, I don't know, anybody or to yourself regularly. And then the last one, again, is the market activity report, doing the exact same thing.
While she's looking that up, though, I was going to say, if you're going to do that report for your sellers, it might be something that you can incorporate to your seller packet when you're doing your listing presentations.
Great idea.
Letting them know that this is going to be a service that you're going to offer them during your listing period, so they know that you're going to keep in touch with them, so they can see the report that you're going to be showing them and have an idea of what they can be expecting. So we're always looking for information to stick into our presentation packets. That
Definitely.
might be something.
Now, one thing that you can do on this bottom one is you can change out this template. So if you wanted to read something completely different that's going out to your sellers, maybe you want to say, hey, here's what's happened in the last week, or check out this area, Bayshore's area, or whatever. You can change this because that's basically the start of the email, and then you can save it as a template, however you want to say that. And then when you're in this section, and you click here, it's going to become one of your drop downs so that you can use that one over and over. It's basically a template of an email that goes out to the folks that you can use over and over. And then next, you're going to do the same thing with the property information. I'm going to keep that simple. Pull in the same data. It's going to pull up your information. It's completely branded to you. And then, of course, there's the email that goes out, and then the same kind of stats that go out regularly. And then basically you send the report, and then that one's going to hit them right now. So, does that make sense? Pretty easy, pretty simple. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to show you guys, and a lot of you have seen this already, is, we'll start from the beginning here though. Yep, go ahead.
Where it showed your information, Heather, at the top, it said no photo. Does the photo actually populate in there when you send it?
Yes, if you have yours uploaded in there. Now there's a couple different places to upload your photo in here, so make sure that you're going through your profile section from the get-go as soon as you log in here, and also inside of your...
There's 2 different places.
There are 2 different places.
There's a few different places in the resource center, because I'm guessing I haven't uploaded mine into that.
Yep.
I have in one place. I didn't know there was a second.
Yep, so anytime you go inside any of these, make sure that you look in the upper right-hand corner and see that profile there as well. That's different than the first one, because you're sending out all these different branded pieces of information. So it's like, you know, this is how this one's formatted. You can just put them in multiple places. This one you can upload an entirely different one. So we're going to go back really quickly here, and we're going to head back into lead resource for a second. I'm going to show you marketing drip campaigns. Under lead resource, which is kind of what we talked about a little bit last week about putting in our contacts, we're going to go to marketing and then the action plan manager. Now these are simply drip campaigns, and they go out, the number of activities that are going out is in this column. And you can look through each of these activities by clicking on this little television. It's basically a preview. So if you don't want to click inside of that, or if you just want to click here, you can see exactly what they look like. So this is 2018 annual occasions. And they're just pre-made templates already ready to go for you. And you actually get to go back in, and so since these are holidays, they actually have them going out on standard intervals around that holiday. But I'll go back. If you see any that you actually do like, read through all those. We have like 50 in there. So there's moving campaigns, there's buyer prospect campaigns, other thing, recruiting campaigns if you're looking for a new recruit, annual occasions, postcards, and just about everything you can think of. If you find one that you like, and I personally like the moving campaign because it keeps you engaged the entirety of the transaction. If you like a campaign, after you've looked at it, you click on the plus button, because this is just a template, and the plus button actually gives you use of the template to go in and edit anything that you want if you don't like their pictures, if you don't like their verbiage. So you get inside the campaign, and again, this one's going to have this one has 7 drips. So the very first letter says, getting ready to move. Regardless of where you are in the home buying or selling process, you'll want to develop a to-do list that will help you make your move as painless as possible. Here are some suggestions. Submit your change of address to the postal office. If you're moving long distance, make arrangements with a moving company and make other travel arrangements such as airline tickets. Obtain your medical records. Just things that kind of keep you looking like you're going above and beyond through this drip throughout the entire transaction. So yeah, I like that. It's branded to me. It looks perfect. I don't have to do anything to it, or I can change it if I want. And then, because I like it so much, I'm going to have that go out today or tomorrow. I get to choose the days that it's actually going out. So I'm going to have that one going out today. And then the second letter, which reads something completely different, I'm going to have it go out 3 days from now. I might do 5 days, I might do 7 days, I might do it once a week, you know. So then 3 days from that, it's dripping again. Then 3 days from that, that might be again too much. But as you change these days, it's going out that number of days from today. So 0 days goes out today, the first one, then 3 days later, then 3 days after that. So they're not all going out on day 3 here. They're going out dripping. So you just change the number of what you want it to go to. And then you add the recipients. When you add the recipients, if you already have them in there, you're going to have your whole list. If you need to add them, you can click on contacts. And hopefully by now you've had them in there. You can just select them all and hit save. As soon as you hit the save button, they're going to get that email. Pretty cool? Yes?
Is there a way to add multiple contacts instead of doing it all individually?
As you're adding contacts, yes, ma'am. So these programs are only as good as the number of people that you put in, obviously. So when you first go to start using any of these, go into contacts here, and then add contacts. Here you can add contacts one at a time, but I would do that import feature. And just import. Now you're going to have to change your Excel sheet into a comma separated value file. And once you do that, you can automatically pull them in bulk. Okay, what's that noise?
All right, business plans. We had Shelly Klemke talk about this, so I have incorporated business plans into your packet for the week. I've actually done 2 for you guys this week. I've done the Mike Ferry one that she had spoken of, and then Mark Stark from Berkshire Hathaway came and visited us a couple years ago for our explosion event. So he brought his 4-step business plan in here as well. I don't care which business plan you use as long as you use one. So, if you want to go down and break it down individually of how many listings you have to get, or how many appointments to get a listing to get a sale, you can do it that way, and that's what Mike Ferry's business plan has for you in there. And then also with Mark Stark, he's got the 4-step business plan. So you can kind of go in and read how he expects you to accomplish your goals that way. I know Debbie DeGrow also has a business plan. I think you can Google business plans on online. Find one that you think that you can actually kind of work through. I know the Mike Ferry one seems to be a little bit intensive. You really have to go down and figure out exactly which steps you're going to take in order to achieve those goals. But whatever's going to work best for you, do it. So that's going to be part of our homework for next week, is working on your business plan. I am not collecting homework. I'm not making you guys, I should hold you guys all accountable, but you guys, there's a lot of you, and realistically, you know what, this is for you, not for me. I want to see you guys achieve your goals, so this is up to you to actually do these activities, and if you don't want to, that's fine. But then when January comes next year, and you're hitting it off the right way or the wrong way, you'll know who to, accredit that to. So Mike Ferry's business plan is in week 3 for you. I added another sheet in there for week 3 that we had done last week, which was your the time management one that Mike Ferry had. And then I know a couple agents in the office were in a mastermind group with a lender here in town that does a perfect sales system. So I did a time blocking sheet in here for you too, that some of the agents here have done and have shared with me. So you can go in and time block your day. And then it also on the back page of it kind of gives you some stuff. And I don't know if they've included the back page, but if not, I'll email it out to everybody or make sure it's in next week's. But there is a system that goes with it. I don't think they did put that in there. I'll make sure you guys get a copy of that, but at least it gives you something to start off with right now, so you can do some time blocking, fill in your day, and know exactly what you guys are going to be doing that morning. So, all right, so 9 things that very successful people never do. They never let go, or they never let the past dictate their future. They never gossip. They never say yes when they really mean no. They never interrupt. They're never late without a really great, incredibly good reason, which I hate being late. I think that stresses me out more than anything in life. They never resent. They never decide that they don't have time. They never fit in just to fit in, and they're never afraid to do the things that matter. So I put a sheet of that in your paperwork for you also this week. And then our favorite time of the day is our affirmation day. So if you would, please stand up and smile. We've got 5 affirmations, which I've printed off for you in the packet again today. Oops. So our affirmations of the week, we'll go ahead and start. Whatever I put my mind to, I achieve. The more successful I become, the confident I feel. I'm very motivated, driven, and ambitious. I see happiness and success wherever I go, and I believe deeply that I can achieve anything. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go forward a little bit just because I know we've got 2 speakers today. You guys can sit down. Because I know that they'll probably take the full hour, and I want to make sure I get everything done that we were going to have planned for the day. So I'm going to kind of skip through a little bit. The homework for you guys this week, we're going to have you fill out your business plan, start working on some time blocking, continue with your daily tracker that I've included in your packet again. Working on being consistent, and then follow up with your accountability partner. So today David's going to do some talking about scripts and people he calls. I would highly suggest maybe try doing some role playing with your partner this week. I did put one script in there this week from Berkshire Hathaway, just calling past clients or past referrals that you had. So if you need some information, there's just one thing that you guys can work on. If not, I know that we've got some Mike Fury scripts that I can get a hold of for you, or there's some other scripts that I included in last year's class that I can also get to you too. So if you guys want some more scripts, let me know, and I can include them into next week's packet for you. If not, stop by and I'll just email them to you. Admin tip of the week. So this is a good one for everyone in the office that might be here that doesn't know, or someone that's coming over. So by 3 o'clock during the weekdays, all listings and purchases must be turned in before 3 o'clock or they will not be processed that day, guaranteed. So if you want them for sure inputted, your listings or your purchases, have them in by 3 o'clock in order to make sure that they'll get done that day. 48 hours is how long you have to get a listing entered into the MLS from the listing date. So this is a good one to know if you're doing pocket listings or coming soons or your listings. MLS can now fine you $100 a day for them not being turned in, and they usually give you one freebie, but if you guys get caught doing it more than once, you can get fined. I think I see this more on the coming soons where you guys have the listing agreement but you haven't submitted it to the girls downstairs, and so we're seeing a lot of agents getting fined for this. So if you turn it into the girls downstairs within that 48 hours, they'll get it to the MLS or the board and make sure that you guys don't get any fines. 48 hours is how long you have to get a listing marked pending from the date of the accepted purchase agreement. So agents also turn us in for this as well. Make sure you guys are cognizant of turning in your listings that have gone pending in a timely fashion. That way we can get it reflected in the MLS. And then 24 to 48 hours, this is how long it can take to process a commission check from our office once we have the check. So I know when Berkshire Hathaway and CBS Home at the time had considered cutting checks at the title company at time of closing, agents were under the notion that they were going to get checks that same day. That's not the case. As soon as we get the check in our office, we should have them processed between 24 and 48 hours. So it's not instantly the day that it closes. I have a lot of people ask me, aren't we supposed to get our checks that day? And no, that's not the case. But these ladies work really hard to get you your checks on time. If you guys ever have any questions about your checks, I can help you. Brittany downstairs can help you. Let me know and I'll point you in the right direction. And then food for thought. Don't just give up, or don't give up just because what someone said. Use that as motivation to push harder. And I think that's something that, I think all of us could probably relate to a little bit. Someone always says something negative or might say something that, might get in your head and it would maybe make you fail. But instead of it letting you, get down, I think you can use it as a little bit of motivation to keep you going. And then, dear past, thank you for all the lessons, and dear future, I'm ready. So this morning I was doing my affirmations, and I was telling myself, because I'm in the middle of a rehab project that Fred Teixeira had talked me into. I think it's a great idea to do investment properties, and so right now it's sitting there vacant. As I'm listening to my podcast this morning, they're talking about how vacancy can eat you up, and I'm like, oh shit. So I'm hoping that's not going to be me. So as I'm, sitting there, I'm like, I have to put it in God's hands and just be like, what, God, please help me find a tenant for my house, and I can't stress about the things I cannot fix. So, you just have to put it out there and make sure that, you're putting out good vibes and that you're having good affirmations and things really will work out. It's just your mindset. If you guys are going to have that doom and gloom mindset that things aren't going to work out for you and, this never happens to me, then that's kind of the lifestyle that you're going to set for yourself. This morning, instead of sitting there worrying about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can and then I'm going to put it in God's hands. And then from there, I know everything will work out okay. So, I think I was getting into my own head yesterday with all the stress and whatnot, and then today I'm like, I got to get my mind right because that was screwing me up yesterday. So we all have our flaws, we all have our bad days, but know that you guys are the ones that have the ability to change those days and make things better. So we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then I'm going to have Jenn, Bennett, and Dave Matney speak next. So thank you, everybody.
All right, can everybody hear me okay? All right, go ahead and stand up. This is my doggone 30 minutes. I'm going to have you my way. Good to go? All right, today is a great day. Today I have energy. Repeat after me.
Today I have energy.
Today is the day I'm going to make it happen.
Today is the day I'm going to make it happen.
I'm ready to make today the best day of my life.
I'm ready to make today the best day of my life.
I see myself achieving my goals.
I see myself achieving my goals.
I am a goal achiever.
I am a goal achiever.
Today and every day I'm getting better and better.
Today and every day I'm getting better and better.
I believe in me.
I believe in me.
I'm alive, excited, and full of energy.
I'm alive, excited, and full of energy.
I am a great salesperson.
I am a great salesperson.
You are a great salesperson.
You are a great salesperson.
I love to prospect.
I love to prospect.
I'm prospecting with intensity.
I'm prospecting with an intensity.
I'm an energetic, enthusiastic, and charismatic salesperson.
I'm an energetic, enthusiastic.
The phone makes me money.
The phone makes me money.
I enjoy making the next call.
I enjoy making the next call.
I am versatile with my prospects.
Versatile with my prospects.
I love objections.
I love objections.
I handle objections with ease.
I handle objections with ease.
I close at least one more time than I'm comfortable with.
I close one more time.
I am a closer.
I'm a closer.
I am successful in everything I do.
I am successful in everything I do.
My mindset is strong all day long.
My mindset is strong
All
all
right,
day long.
go ahead and sit down. I got a question. Who wants $50?
Woo!
Oh, I know this one.
Who wants $50? Who wants $50? All right, give me a hand. All right, why do I start off this way? Number one, everybody give me a hand. Okay, some of you guys that have had me in class, you should have known that. How many of you had me in class before? Okay. You know I like the affirmations, right? All right. Okay, who's my folks from CBS Home? All right, welcome guys. We're glad to have you on board. Okay. I was in your shoes 3 years ago when I changed over from my company that I was with and coming over here a little bit of a culture shock. All right, but we're glad you're on board and it's a good time. So my only mistake, I've been doing this for 15 years. I came over here 3 years ago. My mistake is I should have went out of business faster. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about prospecting. I'm going to sprinkle in some other stuff. There was a mistake in the handout. For some reason, I emailed you my homework. I'm part of the Mike Ferry coaching program, and I've only been in that for 3 years. And somehow the coach wanted me to email him my sourcing my business of this year, and he wanted me to carbon copy my manager. And so Heather got a copy of that. So somehow some things happened. So you got my homework assignment. So I passed out what I wanted to talk about in terms of affirmations and that sort of thing. Okay. I'm going to say some things that might make you a little bit mad. Okay? And this is the world according to David. All right? So you can take it for what it's worth, and that's okay. All right. We are in a skill-based business. Okay? All right. Nothing happens in real estate until we talk to somebody. We are in the talk to people business. The only thing that happens in order to do business is blah, 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 blah. You have to talk to somebody. All right? Now, there's 3 ways of getting business. All 3 of these ways work. Number 1, you can buy business. How do you buy business? You can spend a boatload of money on advertising. You can spend a boatload of money on online advertising. You can discount commissions. Those are ways of buying business. I'm not without sin. Guess what? I've bought business. When I was brand spanking new, guess what I did? I bought business. How did I do it? I discounted commissions, so I'm not without sin on that one. Number 2, you can wait for business to come to you. A broken clock is right twice a day. It doesn't take any skill to list your mom's property, okay? It doesn't take any skill to list your own property. So you can wait for it to come to you, okay? Now, every agent has 2 deals a year just falling out of the sky, okay? It's the other 36 deals that are tough to get, all right? Now, the third way of getting business is going out and finding it. That's what we're going to talk about today. How do you find it? You door knock, you telephone prospect, open houses. Those are all inexpensive. They're not very sexy, okay? But they work. But you got to do a 4-letter word, and that's called work, okay? Doing business at high levels takes a lot of work. And it's also, like I said, a skill-based business. You put Deb Sizek in a room with 3 people, she's probably going to walk out of that room with a listing. The rest of us, with those same 3 people, we don't have those skills developed. We may not walk out of there with a listing, okay? My original mentor was pretty brutal, okay? He would say to me, Dave, we're hunters. Our job is to go out and find something, kill it, and drag it back to the fire. And I'm like, yeah, okay. All right. And then he preached about red activities and green activities, okay? Red activities are business servicing activities. Green activities are income generating activities. Now here's the deceptive thing. There are some red activities that are a lot of fun to do, and there's green activities that are not a lot of fun to do. But you really got to focus on those green activities, okay? Here's the other thing too. As far as telephone prospecting, I do go into the booths. Here's the deal, guys and gals. You don't have to be that good. All you have to be is better than the person that is not doing it. So if 98% of the agents aren't doing it, guess what? I'm only competing against 2% of people, and they're not, it's like, so you don't have to be that good. I had some calls, I record my calls, and then I'm like, well, should I play those for the class? And then I listen to them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I sound horrible. And so your competition is really in the mirror. Your competition is really with yourself. Why do I go into a booth? Is because there's accountability built in. If I have a glass window behind me and I'm in that booth, people will know when I'm on a news website versus when I'm actually prospecting. Good to go? All right. Now the other thing you got to be careful about is getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready. Okay, what does that look like? Well, I'm going to start door knocking when my door hangers come in. I'm going to wait until my business cards get in, and then I'm going to go do this. People are getting ready to get ready to get ready, and guess what? They never take action. So something worth doing is worth doing poorly until you get good at it. Okay? I asked for $50. Who wanted $50? You guys all raised your hand. Hey, yeah, I want $50. Hey, I want the business. There are sellers right now that are out there holding up $4,000 or $5,000. Okay? And it's like, well, we want the business. Well, guess what? You have to take action. Real estate is a contact sport. Okay? How much skill did Tracy have to exhibit in order to come get that $50?
I'm pretty fast.
He's pretty fast, okay. But he didn't have a whole lot of competition, did he? All right. Okay, there's 2 types of people. There's people you know, and there's people you don't know. If you're not talking to one of those 2 groups of people, you're going to be out of business in 6 months. All right. Obviously, the people you know are the best source of business. This is your sphere of influence. You should spend time and money on this source of business. It's much better to spend, one of the best tips I ever had was sending out a handwritten note with a $5 gift card saying, hey, just wanted to, hey, I hope all is well. I'm not that creative, okay? I hope all is well. If you need anything real estate related, please let me know. And I drop a little business card in there. I drop my little $5 gift card to Starbucks. And doggone it, that's made me a lot of money. And I got that out of one of our mastermind groups here. And it's not very, it's like a blinding flash of the obvious. It works, okay? But you just got to have to doggone do it. Now, is that a green activity or red activity? Green. Actually, it's red, okay? It's fun to do. It's kind of nice. You can do it any time. But that's not like picking up the phone and talking to somebody. Fair enough? Be careful about spending your money on things that are not effective. People come out of the woodwork in order to, hey, a new zip code opened up on Zillow. And what does Zillow do? They call you. in order for you to advertise online. So they're calling you in order for you, they're telephone prospecting you in order for you to spend money to advertise online. So be careful about that. Like I talked about the sphere of influence, it's your personal gold mine. Be careful about who is in your gold mine. Do not put lead follow-up folks into your gold mine. Everything starts with having the right mindset, affirmations, we talk about that. Pre-prospecting routine or a checklist. You should have a handout that has a pre-prospecting checklist on it, okay? I set up in the booths, I set up what they call a prospecting cockpit. I put my little dream board on there because here's the fact of the matter. Guess what? When you call folks, guess what? Nobody's home, okay? 20% of the people will answer the phone. So most of the time you're just sitting there, ring, 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 ring. Do I leave messages? To an expired? No, okay? I call expireds. Expireds are my favorite. And then for sale by owners. Just listed, just sold, I'm not as comfortable with those. And my sphere, I'm not as comfortable with that either. And I cheat, and I do a red activity. I write handwritten notes. I call them. For my sphere, I use things like, hey, I'm doing a pumpkin or a pie giveaway. Hey, come by and pick up a free pie. So I do that kind of a client appreciation call, which is a very easy call. Okay? I use a headset so I can talk with my hands so I have more energy. Now, I'm lazy. They say you should stand up in the booths. Vince has those nice chairs that are elevated. I cheat and I sit on the chair. Okay? Phone prospecting means you have to be able to deal with rejection. Rejection's good. Actually talking to somebody, I actually have gotten to the point where it's like, hey, if they yell at me and swear at me, at least it was a little bit different, so it's a little bit more fun. And here's the other thing too. Most of the folks are pretty doggone nice. Okay, it's not as scary. How many folks are a little bit scared about doing that? As far as calling expireds and FSBOs and that sort of thing. Yeah, you got to be careful about what movie plays in your own head. Everybody in their head says, oh, these expireds are going to be mean and angry. And honestly, they're not. If you come across as helpful, and you got to change your mindset. Instead of coming across as trying to get business, why don't you come across as, hey, what can I do to help you? Okay? All right. Going back to mindset, you got to, 90% of what's wrong with your business can be solved by looking at your schedule. Okay? You got to get the morning right. Okay? I've lied to myself. I have said, well, I won't prospect in the morning. And who else has done this lie? I'm not prospecting this morning. I got this fire I got to put out, and I'll prospect in the afternoon. How many folks have told that lie to themselves? Okay, what does the afternoon happen? Does anybody actually fulfill their promise to themselves? No, I don't either. Okay. I'm going to talk about something else. How many folks feel uncomfortable about role playing in practice? How many folks think, oh my gosh, how that's so dorky? Yeah, it is. Okay. But here's the thing. Everybody practices. Do you practice on a live person, which is expensive? I would much rather make a mistake and role play with Kit in practice than I would on a live call. Does that make sense? All right. Going back to role play. I role play 5 times a week, and I role play from 8:30 to 9, and really it turns into 8:30 to 8:45. I have 2 really, really good role play partners. And if you find a real good role play partner, you want to hang on to them like gold because you can learn a lot from them. Okay? When you have a role play partner, it is not about, oh, Kit, you wouldn't believe this buyer I have. You don't air out your grievances or anything like that. It's a, hey, Kit, I'm going to do an expired. Ready? Ring, ring. And then we go into it. All right? And just like she's not going to dump her problems on me because I have my own problems, I don't need to hear her problems as well, all right? You got to time block your practice. Always role play a positive outcome. When you role play a positive outcome, what that means is this. It tricks your brain into thinking that you just set a real appointment. Okay, so Kit may be kind of tough on me in role play, but she's going to eventually let me set an appointment. Okay, you don't want to be a rollover either. Okay, and you want to change up your role play partners because you get used to what they say. And a lot of times, what people do in a role play is you reenact a previous call that gave you difficulty. Like my role play partner on Monday will say, "Hey, Dave, I got this call," and he wouldn't tell me what it is, but he would be that person that he had. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. But that way you can kind of see how that other person would work through it. Okay. Phone prospecting is a numbers game. Okay. You're prospecting. You're looking for gold. It means you have to move a lot of dirt in order to find that little speck of gold. The best thing is a nice big trash can to get rid of the people that don't need your help. Okay? All right. Have fun, smile. You're gonna screw up. I mean, I listen to some of my tapes on myself, and then my coach makes me email him copies of the call, and I'm like, oh, I didn't follow the script. You know, you're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. You're gonna get better as time goes on. Like I said, your best competition, your real competition is with yourself and with distractions. All right? When to call. Okay. Expired, you want to call right away. Okay, they expire the night before, and that morning they show up on the list. You want to call those expireds right away because guess what? They'll get a bunch of other calls right away. All right? And then after a while, they'll notice, hey, okay, it'll show up on their caller ID, and then they just won't answer the phone after 10 o'clock. Okay, so what some agents do, they'll call them, and I don't do this, I probably should. They call them at 8 in the morning, they call them at noon, they call them in the evening time. Saturday mornings is a great time to call. I'm telling you all this stuff, but guess what? Do I call in the evenings? No, because I come up with some other excuse of what I need to do. All right? Do I call on Saturdays? I mean to. But here's the thing. Do I put it in my schedule? And I don't. So if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. I lie to myself. Nobody knows out there I'm lying to myself all the time where it's like,
you do now.
Yeah. Okay. They say you should publish your schedule everywhere. Everybody should know your schedule. But you know what? My schedule isn't on the door of my room because guess what? You guys would know, hey, you're supposed to be in the booth from 9 to 11. Where are you? Well, I'm in here working on a deal. Okay. Again, it's a numbers game. You're tracking your contacts. Okay, so I can't control setting an appointment. Okay, all I can do is track people I've talked to, and that has to be an adult. It has to be able to make a business decision. Okay, so you want to be talking to an actual adult in order for it to count as a contact. Have I cheated before? Well, that 10-year-old could have been a little bit older. Yeah. All right. So you want to track contacts. That way you can tell after 43 contacts, you'll set one appointment. And then after 2 appointments, there's a 50%, this is my ratios, 50% of conversion on that. So my ratios, you got to go through a whole lot of dirt in order to set those appointments. You're not setting perfect appointments, okay? Your goal is just to set an appointment, okay? And there's little tiny subtleties. When you're calling somebody, an expired, there's 2 salespeople on the line, okay? You're one salesperson, and the seller is the other salesperson. You're trying to sell them on setting an appointment, and they're trying to sell you on not setting an appointment. Who's the better salesperson? And sometimes they are masters at their dialogues, okay? Well, can you call me back later this week? Oh, sure, no problem. I could call you back later on this week. But why don't we do this just for fun? Why don't we just set a tentative appointment for Saturday? Because it's much easier for me to take you out of my schedule than put you in my schedule. Okay, so sometimes it's just one more question, one little dialogue that'll mean the difference between setting an appointment and not setting an appointment, okay? For sale by owners, they're not that mean, okay? I have a role play partner in Texas, and I have one in Florida, and they're a lot meaner in those other markets. We should be very fortunate in the fact that everybody's afraid to call a for sale by owner. You can set appointments with for sale by owners, okay? Now the problem this summer was the for sale by owner would actually sell, okay? And you'd call them up, hey, I sold the property. You know, don't say something snarky to them, okay? Hey, congratulations, that's awesome. Did you know there was 1,700 folks right now who are jealous of you? But let me ask you another question. Who else in your neighborhood is looking to put their home on the market? Okay, that's a contact. Or you dial somebody up and you get the wrong number. Guess what? Hey, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, you know, let me ask you this while I have you on the line. Do you know anybody right now who's looking to take advantage of the real estate market? Bam, that's a contact, okay? So even with a wrong number, you can convert those folks to contacts. All right. What do I say? I follow the Mike's Ferry scripts. And people go, I don't like scripts, okay? Guess what? Everybody uses scripts, okay? Even Vince, who says he doesn't like scripts, how many times have we heard Vince say, money flows to the difference and not the similar? That's a script, okay? He had a sales meeting on the 23rd, and guess what? There's a script up here, okay, an outline of what he's gonna say. So even the best folks use scripts. You know, Tom Hanks, professional performers, do they all use scripts? Yes. Do they practice? Yes. Okay, you need to practice. All right. How are we doing time-wise? I got 7 minutes. All right. Where do you get the numbers? Okay. Like I said, I use a system called the Red X, and it's an a la carte system where you can order for sale by owners, you can order expireds, and it's an a la carte menu, okay? That's one service that's out there. There's another service called Vulcan 7. I used those folks before. Those are for expireds and FSBOs. That's about $318 a month. That's a good service, and it's an auto dialer, so it looks up the number for you, it scrubs the number, and meaning it looks it up to see if it's been relisted again, and then it gives you the number, and it's an auto dialer, which means you just click and it dials the next number. You don't have to physically punch in the numbers, okay? The Red X also has an auto dialer as well. There's a service out there called Mojo. Okay, Mojo, how many folks have heard of that before? Mojo is what they call a triple line dialer, okay? It dials 3 numbers at once. So you can chew through a whole bunch of numbers. Guess what? You're going to be talking to some folks, okay? That's good for just listed, just sold, because your whole idea is to move dirt, all right? What if you don't want to spend money on those types of services? What can you do? When I first got into the business, I was desperate to get out of Ameritrade. We're all safe here. But I did not. I wanted to desperately get out of Ameritrade no matter what. And what I would do, I worked from 5 a.m. to 1:30. I got off at 1:30, and then I drove home a different direction. And I would just, write down for sale by owner numbers, and I would call them. Did I know what I was doing? No. I cringe now listening to my calls, but I couldn't imagine what they sounded like back then. But so you can. How many of us, and I'm guilty of it, how many of us drive by a for sale by owner and go, hey, there's somebody who needs to sell their home. Well, I better get to the office. John made coffee. I got to get to the office. How many of us do that? I do it all the time. I'm guilty of it. It's like, and you pretend like you didn't see it, okay? And as far as accountability partners too, I got my kids kind of trained as accountability partners because they will say to me, hey, Dad, how many contacts you made today? And so I heard, my son works here, and he'll be like, well, I didn't see you in the booth today. Well, how? So there's ways you can build in accountability. All right. Any questions out there? Anybody got any questions? Sure.
The do not call list.
Okay, do not call us.
Did I miss this? Does the red X, do they?
The red X does scrub that. Okay. And then you got to make a decision whether or not you choose to call the people on the do not call list or you choose not to. Okay. And that's an individual. Keep in mind there's an $11,000 fine out there if you call somebody on the do not call list. But here's the thing. A lot of it is in tonality. Okay. And if you're friendly and nice, okay, you can set appointments. I have a client right now that honestly, the fact that she wasn't expired, and I called her and I set an appointment with her. Heather, you know this person. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I actually commended myself for able to set, and she had an expired listing that was here, okay? And she had a bad experience with the previous agent. And then I called her and I was able to set the appointment. And I'm like, well, she kind of gave off some red flags a little bit. And I'm like, well, but this market's so damn hot, I'm going to just take it. Whew. But I mean, so even if somebody, you got to be careful what goes on in your mind, okay, in terms of things like that. And people are going to say some just ridiculous things to you. Just smile and nod. Oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, I can I'm sorry you feel that way. Oh, I had a real bad experience, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we set up a time, would Thursday at 1 or would Friday at 1 work better to you? So I can show you exactly what I do differently, okay? Any other questions? Go ahead.
So the systems that you mentioned, are they all just the FISBOs and the expireds?
There's another service called the Coal Resource Directory, okay? And that's another service out there. What was your question again?
Well, so say you want to farm an area that just sold just list, how does the person get those numbers?
Yeah, the Red X has what they call geo leads that you can do a circle an area and then it'll pull up all the numbers. And they're pretty creepy in terms like Vulcan 7 and the Red X is creepy as far as how they pull up numbers because they will get parents' phone numbers, okay? And so a lot of times they'll say, I'm looking for Steve. Steve's not here. You have to ask another question. Well, hey, are you associated with, 1234 Main Street? Oh, that's my son's property. Oh, well, gosh, I don't know how and you never tell them you're using a service, okay? Because that'll creep them out. You say, oh, well, my assistant looked it up, which is not completely a lie. My assistant did look it up. My assistant, the Red X, looked it up. My gosh, I'm sorry about that. Well, hey, do you have a better number I could reach out to your son? And they'll tell you. They'll tell you that number. So you just got to ask. Okay? Does that answer your question?
I think so. I think we're getting it for $500 a year now instead of the $1,000.
Here's the thing about those systems. You have to actually log into it to use it. Okay? Vulcan 7 is very restrictive as far as they won't give it out to everybody. So it's like, I know some agents that kept paying for Vulcan 7 even though they weren't using it like they should because they didn't want to get cut off from that service. Okay, so, but the system is you got to go out and use it. And here's the other thing, you can doggone knock on a door on a Saturday morning, go knock on a door. There's a guy by the name of Neil Schwartz. He's out of Century 21 Masters. He's on YouTube. But if you Google him or look him up on YouTube, he has a thing called a 5-5-10. What he does is he does 5 previews, and then he knocks on 10 doors around that preview. and then he'll go to 5 expireds and then knock around 10 doors around that expired. So there's other ways of doing this business. But real estate is a contact sport. You got to go out there and make contact. Question, Scott.
Wait, David, can you give me that name again, Neil?
Neil Schwartz. Yep, he's my second favorite broker.
Your opening was fantastic. You scared me a little bit.
All right, that's okay.
But how often do you do those affirmations?
I do them at 8 o'clock in the morning in my office, and guess what? Nobody's here at 8 o'clock. Scott is here once in a while. He'll catch the tail end of them, but nobody's here at 8 o'clock. Maybe Dick Gibb might hear them. I don't scream them out loud like that, but I get
outside your door one time and listened. It was very good.
Okay, and I also have another list of, like, they're called bold laws, and I say those out loud too, and I can get you copies of that stuff too. Any other questions for me? Question?
Time of the day, when is best?
When is the best time to call? There's never a wrong time to do the right thing, okay? But for expireds, it's early in the morning. You have much more energy in the morning, so you want to protect your morning, and I say call in the morning, okay? And here's the deal. You call them on Monday, they don't answer. Guess what? You call them on Tuesday. Then you call them on Wednesday. You know, so you keep calling until they answer and tell you to go jump in a lake, or they list with you, okay? So I call old expireds too, all right? Does that answer your question?
Yes, just because I called a couple of times and they happen to be at work.
And that's okay. Yeah, so what? Next. Yep. Evening time works good, and I'm not that disciplined, obviously, okay? Any other questions? All right. Thanks, guys. All right.
Thank you, David.
Good morning, everybody. I know you've been here for a long time, so I'll get started. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Okay. I'm Jenn Bennett. So I've been in the business for 17 years. I was originally Hellman, my maiden name, and in 2000, when did I get married? 12. Became Bennett, so you can call me whatever. It depends on when you met me, is what you call me. But so I'm going to talk about farming to a neighborhood. I made an old school outline because I'm kind of old school. But last time I gave this presentation, I think it went an hour and a half. So we're going to try to keep it a lot shorter than that. I think Heather chose me because back in the day, I had a company called Urban Omaha, and we farmed to downtown. Downtown was our farm neighborhood, and we kind of got the market there. And from about 2002 to 2008, we had a team of 10 people and ran most of the condo projects down there. And so I've kind of since then spread out across all of Omaha. My business does go all across Omaha. I represent a builder now, and also I've moved out of downtown, and I actually live right over here in Pacific Point. So that is the neighborhood that I farm to now. So, the first thing in farming to a neighborhood is to identify your farm neighborhood. And so I took some ideas from Tom Ferry, which is actually what I have implemented into my own practice, which is choosing the neighborhood that you live in. Now, some people might not own a home yet, or maybe you can always farm to maybe like your parents' neighborhoods or your sister's neighborhood, but definitely the presence in the neighborhood and being able to say that your neighborhood, you are a neighbor, is a good thing when you're choosing a neighborhood to farm to. Some other things that Tom says is to make sure there's some good turnover in that neighborhood, and make sure there's a good amount of homes in that neighborhood too, so that it's worth your while. So the number one thing I do when farming to a neighborhood is direct mail. So has anybody heard of every door direct mail through the post office? Okay, great. So this might be something that you've already seen, but I know Heather really wanted me to talk about every door direct mail. So first of all, what I do is partner with lenders or other vendors who are always calling you and wanting you to use them. They're great resources to help you, financially with the mailings, and you can there are all kinds of different ways you can partner together in all of the type of marketing we're going to talk about, but especially with mailers. So partner with a lender to help on the financial side, and then design a mail piece. I have a graphic designer that I have on on retainer monthly because we do a lot of different fun stuff. So, I work with her, but I know that there are going to be a lot more marketing options now that CBS and Berkshire Hathaway are combining. So I think that there's going to be a lot more resources there as well. I handed out a piece, I think, of what I did send out recently. So I try to send out quarterly to my neighborhood, just a market review of that quarter. And then I put some homes that I sold recently. If you haven't sold homes in that particular neighborhood recently, you can always look at the most recent sales and talk to the agent and say, I'm doing a mailing. Is it okay if I post your sale up there? And typically most people are going to be fine with that. So definitely you can use other people's sales in these mailings. So design the piece. There's all kinds of different things you can put in there. Testimonials, the quarterly report. I just took that directly from the MLS. You can advertise that you will give a free evaluation report of their home, coupons from your vendors, and then, like I said, just solds. I print at the OABR print shop. They seem to have the best prices. So, and Jim's really good over there about, you can just send him over a piece and he actually puts the stamp and everything on it and sends it right to the post office. You don't even have to do a thing. Don't even have to, do the licking the envelopes and putting on the stamps or anything like that. But another option is to use the Every Door direct mail. So don't go to this website. Be careful and be sure you do put USPS because it is through the post office. There's a lot of other Every Door direct mail services out there that are going to be advertising to you, but you want to make sure you go to the post office one, which is right here. I just sit down. And I'm just going to show you real quickly how to go through this. So what we do is like I said, design a piece like this. We print it actually here at the office, which Vince is gone, right? Okay. This is, we do is it a 60 card stock? 65 pound stock paper, just so it's a little bit, and we do the full 8.5 by 11, just so it's a little bit more noticeable in the mail. When people are getting their mail out, they grab that and they're like, well, what's that? That's, it's a different size. There's a lot of thought out there when you're doing direct mail to do unique sizes so that it sticks out a little bit, or stands out a little bit more. So do make sure you are on the post office site, and it's actually really simple. I think that I didn't use it for a long time because I thought it was going to be challenging to do, but it's really simple. You just go to this mapping tool. Let me make sure I'm signed into you do register or sign in first. So we'll do that. And sorry for those of you who do know this, or do know about this. This might be old news to you, but I think I'm a visual person. I need people to walk me through things. So, and so what I do is I put in a zip code, and just like any technology, it can be a little finicky. So maybe you put in your address, maybe you put in a zip code, maybe you have to try a couple different things. And so here is my zip code, and here is my neighborhood here. So I'm just going to click on that. That is my mailman's route. So that is where he will deliver, and you can only pick by route. So it's not perfect. You can't pick an exact neighborhood, but for the price, so we'll up here in this line here, we're going to hit almost 600 homes, one business. This has some statistics, and this is the cost to get 600 pieces out. It's about 11 cents a piece for that size. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah. So what you do is, so let's say we're going to choose this route, and we're first, again, like I can't hit continue. I'm not sure why. So sometimes you just hit it again. Okay, now I can continue. And you pick a day, and then I always pay online. Oh, you can't pick that day. Oh, I'm going to go back. You can also pick multiple routes around there. So you can pick as many routes as you want for this one piece to go out. Like I said, I just do my neighborhood, and it picks up some surrounding homes, but it works. Pay online. I've got my credit card online. It might make me, it's not liking what I'm doing here. Let's see. And then what it does is it produces, so my credit card is already stored in here. What it does is it produces some cover sheets. And so what you have, there's one cover sheet that goes over, so you've already printed your 600 pieces here at the office for free-ish. Thanks, Vince. And then you print off their cover sheets. There's one cover sheet that goes on the top of the whole stack, and then you do 100 stacks of 100, and then there's a cover sheet that goes on top of every stack of 100. So for this mailing, I do 595 pieces, so I have 6 stacks. So I have 6 cover letters on each stack, so I have 5 stacks of 100, and then 1 stack of 95. And then you have your cover letter that goes on top of all that, and you stack it all together and drop it off at Boys Town, and it tells you exactly where to drop it off. And then that postman puts one into every door, hence every door direct, the next day. And it's 11 cents a piece for a large piece like that. I've spent a lot of marketing dollars in my day, and it's one of the cheapest, most effective ways to do direct mail.
So I see that there is a, I don't know if my thing's working, but I see that there's a label right here. Where do I get this at?
Great question. So there are specs on the post office site that my designer already knows what they are, so she designs it right on there. So it's already designed into the piece, and so when I print it off, it's already there. So you don't have to do a stamp, you don't have to do the bulk mail stamp or anything like that.
Is there a particular day of the week that you found to be better for you?
That's a good question. I kind of try to go maybe towards the end of the week so that they get it over the weekend. I feel like whenever I am doing any type of marketing, I always think like, what would work for me? Because we're all scatterbrained and we're all over the place, and it's hard enough to get people to, look at what you're doing. So, what would work for me? And I feel like I read the mail more on the weekend, so try to do it maybe on Thursday or Friday.
So yeah, you drop it off on Thursday at Boys Town, it goes out when?
Friday. Well, you can pick the day. You can drop it off on Monday and have it go out on Thursday, but you have to have it dropped off the day before or the morning. I think it has to be the day before.
And then they deliver it that following day?
Correct. Yeah, whatever day you choose. Yeah. So for instance, if I am getting my piece ready and it's not going to be ready till Monday, and I'm buying this postage right now and I want it to go out Thursday, I just choose that Thursday. And that's the day it will go out. You just have to make sure it's dropped off before that Thursday. So any other questions about everyday?
I farm 2 different areas, and so when I do an EDDM, I have to go to Northwest Omaha for the Hillsboro one. I have to go to 63rd Center Street to deliver my Exarban area.
Correct. The Boys Town, it will tell you. Yeah. So do you do that to 2 separate printouts then? Right. Yeah, because you're going to 2 separate.
So I can't go to Boys Town.
Gotcha.
Right? You have to go to where they tell you.
Correct. That's a really good point. I go to Boys Town because that's where this directs me to go. But every door direct will tell you which post office to drop off to, depending on what neighborhood and who the carrier is. Very good point. Thank you.
You said something about a designer. Do you actually design this yourself, or do you have somebody in particular that you like to use?
So I'm a little type A, so I give her all these ideas, and then she kind of puts together something, and we go back and forth probably about 18 times, and then I'm like, okay, let's print it. So it's a collaborative effort is how I do it. I mean, there's plenty of other ways to get it designed, but yeah, so and pretty much with any designer. And I do believe we are going to have an in-house marketing person potentially now.
Maybe.
Okay. So stay tuned on that. And if anybody wants Kelly's number, she's great. So she is actually, I don't know, they move around so much. She worked for Tasha and I when we were downtown doing Urban Omaha a million years ago, and we've both stayed in touch with her, and we both have her on retainer, and I pay her $300 a month for just, whether we do, a bunch of ads and mailings and posts. She designs posts, she designs all kinds of stuff for us, or whether I don't even talk to her that month. So it's kind of nice to just know that she's always there and she's really responsive. And there's a lot of people like that in the community here as well. So any other questions on the Every Door Direct? And I did also, if you do want to get real specific on neighborhood, obviously this is the best way to go. For just sold or just listed, I go through the board office and Jim will just pull up. I'll just tell him what neighborhood. He already has he has somebody in-house to design that's included with the cost of the mail piece. So the design of the piece, he puts the Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices bulk mail stamp on it, which is 22 or 23 cents a piece rather than,
yep.
You have to have at least 200 pieces to use the bulk mail stamp. So he designs that right on the piece, he prints it, and he mails it for you. All you do is approve it. You just give him the address, I want to, and maybe go back and forth a little bit on design, and so that's also a really nice way if you just want to do like a just listed or just sold to a very specific neighborhood. And I've had other printers bid it out, and I've found that we get really good pricing there. If nobody is using them, you should really, talk to them, because we get really good pricing from them being our in-house realtor print shop.
Right.
So in addition to direct mail, there's a couple other things that I think is really important when you're farming a neighborhood. So pop buys. Is anybody doing pop buys? That's and so I do pop buys to my farm neighborhood and then also to my past clients. And we just did this one. It was kind of fun. I plagiarize everything from the Pinterest, and a lot of these ideas have also come from other agents, but this is just the tag that we put on the jams and dropped them off to 200 people in my neighborhood, and then we also did to about 200 people in my past client list. So the reason I handed out is on the back we did, take pictures of that. We did a contest, which I'm not really sure, but a hashtag contest. So I don't know if you know, but Facebook doesn't really like you to run, like my page contests on Facebook. So we do these contests on the pop buys, and so we just gave them directions on the back on you like our page, like our Instagram, post a picture of you and your kids and your jam, and tag us on it, and then you'll be entered for a prize for whatever. So we're giving away Bella tickets this time. We've given away Echo Dots, we've given away College World Series tickets, and different, all kinds of different giveaways. So that's kind of fun, and then people get involved, and their kids they're posting. You're getting them to post onto your site, which is always good, and then their friends are seeing that, and that's kind of what it's all about. Like Vince says, you're just trying to stand out and trying to make yourself, stand out from the crowd, and do something different. You do something unique, do something different.
Yep.
Pinterest. Sorry, I have to go back to my notes.
And I think if you actually Google pop buys, they'll give you a whole list of ideas. Or if you do images, you can get up there and find a whole bunch of stuff. And like I said, my lender is the one that had given me the pumpkin one. But, and the agents in this office will share their ideas. So if you find someone that's doing pop buys like Jen, ask her, hey, do you have an idea that I might be able to use? Because realistically, Vince puts it in all of our minds that we're here to share with an abundance, and that we want to help everyone else succeed. So Jen's going to share this with you, but most likely maybe 5 of you guys might do it. So you're given the tools. It's a matter of what you do with the tools that you're given. So
that is so true. And to that point, I took this class probably 5 years ago, and it was a real game changer. So I think I want to applaud you all for being here. You're putting the time in, and you're learning the tools, and you know what? It does take a while to start implementing the tools, but don't give up, because every year when I would implement something new, and I'm still trying to keep implementing, there's so much we can do. So, but every little bit you do, you pay it forward. It just continues to pay it forward, and you'll see those leads start to come in. And speaking of that, there are so many things you can do. So this is just one thing that I do, and I feel there's a lot of, like Dave was just talking about, he was talking about calling
calls, yep.
Yeah, which I'm awful at, and I spend a lot of time on lists and trying to do that, and I never made the calls, so I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing it, so I'm just not gonna do that thing, I'm gonna do this thing. So, there's so many things that you can do, just figure out what you actually are going to do, what you like, and focus on that, because you can't do everything.
No,
It's
and that
impossible
you're good
to do
at and you're
everything.
actually getting results from. Because if you're
Right.
doing open houses every weekend and for a year you haven't picked up a person at open house, then quit doing open houses and start doing pop-bys or making phone calls or something that does work for you.
Exactly. So,
What's your, when do you do mailers, when do you do Popeyes? Do you have a certain set thing that you do each month?
that would make a lot of sense, yes. But kind of. I do that particular mailer quarterly, so like the quarterly stats of the neighborhood. And then I try to do at least 6 mailers a year. So I'll incorporate a couple different things in there, like maybe a different just sold or just listed, or maybe if we're doing a special event, or like the Parade of Homes, you're invited to the Parade of Homes, because my neighborhood is is probably 8 to 12 years old, so there's a lot of people in that neighborhood maybe thinking about building, and since I represent a builder, then they kind of tie me to that, and then I'm also marketing my builder, so it's kind of a win-win for everybody. And then with the pop buys, if you read online, the best way to do it is do it monthly. I feel like we just can't quite get around to that, so we probably do it more like quarterly. So, and we do different things, and it's been effective. For instance, I had some people call me in January who live down the street, and they said, we just want you to come over and list our house. And I didn't know them, they didn't know me. And when I was at the appointment, I brought my big presentation, and they were just like, okay, whatever, where do we sign? And I'm like, so I wasn't even up against anybody else, and I never could understand why. And then finally I asked, and that's another thing I think Dave said, just ask people, just don't stop asking, because it's good to know where your leads are coming from, right. And it's also good to know, we get rejected all the time, but I remember the first time Tasha and I lost our first listing, like in 2002, and I was like, I'm gonna call that lady, and I called her, and I was like, so why did you choose the other agent? She's like, well, I don't know why, we're just gonna go with you guys instead. So it actually doesn't hurt to just, be, well, since you called me, I guess we'll go with you guys instead. I mean, it's not always that easy, but it doesn't hurt to ask. So I kind of went in a circle there, so these particular people, I said, so why did you guys choose me? And I did a little bit on Nextdoor app as well. So we saw your Nextdoor app, and she's like, and I think you dropped off cookies for Christmas, which I didn't do, but I was like, yes! I'm glad you like those cookies. We actually did like caramel apples at Thanksgiving time, but it's close enough, right? So she just remembered, from all the little things I'm doing in the neighborhood and then called in January. So that's kind of what it's all about. So it does work. And like I said, so the correct answer to your question is monthly. What I end up realistically getting done is probably 4 to 6 mailings and 4 pop buys a year. So, and it's working. So, in conjunction with, Nextdoor app, I was just talking about that. Tabitha actually is a great resource for this. Tabitha, our trainer, she told me something that I started doing, this quarterly, just the quarterly sales she just posts, and she just says, hey, from your friendly neighborhood real estate specialist, here's the quarterly sales for this year. You just pull them right off the MLS, and you just can take a screenshot of the MLS report on your computer and paste it right up in there. Yeah. And then also I've done this quite a bit, and this has actually been better than anything, and I'm really surprised. But if I've got some people looking for something unique, I had some people that came through a listing I had in the Ridges, and they wanted 4 or 5 car garage, and there just wasn't anything. I sent them everything that's on the market, and they didn't like any of that. So I just posted in my Nextdoor app, and I actually just got a listing from that. My people didn't like the house, but I got the appointment, and you just obviously kept following up with him, and I actually had another agent at Berkshire show it, and so so anyways, it's just, again, establishing yourself as the neighborhood expert through the Nextdoor app as well. Is everybody on the Nextdoor app? Is anybody? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there, but so you really want to try to be knowledgeable and give information, but be careful about marketing yourself too much. Just try to give valuable information.
And I think you can get in trouble on Nextdoor app if you're posting houses. So you just want to be more like their source of information. If they're looking for a plumber or a contractor or
that's
an
another really good way.
Make sure that you have a good book of business of people that you can refer. But be careful, because I think they can shut you down pretty quickly as well if you're doing too much prospecting on there.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to be careful with it. So that's what I'm saying. Definitely if there's some really good market information, share that. But I don't think you can post your own listings. You can pay to be the neighborhood sponsor, and then I think you can. And they are starting to post listings. That's all kind of changing as well. So, but the Nextdoor app is a free kind of cool way to get, especially if you're really farming that neighborhood, to get in front of those people. Events. This is something that I talk a lot about that we haven't quite done yet, but it's really good to do. I know Lori Paul does the shredding thing, so around tax time, she'll just send out, maybe on the neighborhood app, and then maybe she sends out a mailing and says, she'll have a shredder in her driveway or at the office.
At the office, and I think they do like a dump day where they bring in a dumpster too to have all their trash taken out for the neighbors. So they'll bring in a couple dumpsters and have everyone come in and pitch in their stuff.
Does anybody's neighborhood have like an Easter egg hunt, or have Santa come in, or have like, they do like the garage sales? So you can kind of talk to the neighborhood HOAs and see if you can sponsor that or do something to help that out, and then they can, market you. There's all different ways that you can do different types, get involved with those different type of events. I know I read that there's some neighborhoods that may not have an organized Easter egg hunt, so the agent started organizing it every year. So I thought that was brilliant. Obviously, a little bit of work, but what a great way to get in front of your neighbors and potential clients. And then, the annual dumpster, and then and then this is always, we all love to give back to community. People love to see that. So maybe if you're involved with reruns or Salvation Army, you can do the collection for that charity, and you set that up in their driveway. And then they see you are, I think that's brilliant, because people want to get rid of that stuff, and they don't want it to be a big hassle. And if they can just drop it a couple blocks down, and then they see that you are in the neighborhood and they know that's your house, so you want to make sure your husband has the lawn mowed and make sure it looks pretty good, it's decorated nice, have your fall stuff out.
I love it.
So any other ideas for events? Like, this is a really good venue to kind of share if anybody else does anything else or has thought of anything else.
I know a lot of the agents do like a pictures with Santa Claus.
Yes.
They do the pumpkin giveaways. I've seen Easter egg hunts. I've seen agents go together with client appreciation parties as well. So, I mean, if you don't have any ideas or you're scared to do it by yourself, Brian, you can team up with somebody.
I was going to say one that I've done recently is school's out and cookout. So the last day of school, most of the time is like a half day, and the parents have to be off to pick up their kids. So in my neighborhood, I could put the bounce house out and cook out and stuff, and as they're walking back from school, they stop by it.
That's brilliant. I love that. I'm going to copy that for sure.
I was going to say, Jenn's stealing it.
That is brilliant. Yeah.
And what I did was little writer signs, right, that says school's out, cook out, and put that on it, and directionals to get all over.
So then did you advertise that to the school or on a Facebook page or something?
I lived in Remington Ridge neighborhood here, and so I put it to the Remington Ridge Facebook page, and then Whitetail as well, since Whitetail Elementary. Those two Facebook pages in it. Yeah. There's last year was the first year I did it, so this past August, or past May. I think I got 120-ish people there over the course of 2-3 hours.
Very awesome.
So I farm Bellbrook because I've lived there 14 years, and I deliver cups like for May Day and St. Patrick's Day, and I get all the business owners, and they come over and we have them set up and they put their own stuff in there.
Oh,
So
that's
they're
good.
getting cups with lots of goodies in it. The electrician puts gum in his, some does put popcorn, so we do a lot of that. And then we have concerts, we sponsor everything. We get to put banners up at the pool, so that's kind of fun. And we also have a Facebook page, so if you want to farm your own neighborhood, so I don't have to just do the next door, which is kind of nice. Then we have a Facebook page and we have a business page in the Facebook page. So any business in the neighborhood, so I can put as much house stuff on that. But check your own neighborhood if you want to farm it and utilize the Facebook page. It's so easy.
That's all, and they let you put stuff up at the pool?
Yep, and that's usually that's usually just 4th of July. We can get banners if we sponsor. It's usually $350 minimums for the sponsors.
Very cool.
So that works pretty good.
So many good ideas. That's great. So events, I mean, and that's how fun is that? And people are in a good mood, and you're getting to talk to them. The kids are out of school. It's a nice day. You're grilling out. You're at the pool. So that's a great idea. How are we out on time?
I think we're done.
Okay.
We're done. So if you want to.
If anybody has any questions, what was the rest of it? Yeah, the rest is boring. Well, thanks for letting me talk. If anybody has any questions, all my information's on there.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. Next week, don't forget your homework. Keep on working on your 5553 business plans. You've got 2 of them in there to take a look at and see which one's your better option. Keep on with your goals if you haven't done those already. And then if you guys have any questions or need anything, email me, call me, whatever, and I'll make sure I'm here to help you. We'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody.